Welcome to Washington America Show with international multimedia journalist, multidimensional, multifaceted artist and director of Human Rights Justice Council USA, Dr. Kashif Sohail.
Since the development of the Internet in the mid-90s, Internet activism has become an invaluable component of presidential campaigns, especially since 2000. The Internet was first used in the 1996 presidential elections, but primarily as a brochure for the candidate online. In 2000, both candidates George W. Bush and Al Gore created, maintained, and updated campaign websites. But it was not until the 2004 presidential election cycle was the potential value of the Internet seen.
By the summer of 2003, 10 people competing in the 2004 presidential election had developed campaign websites. Howard Dean's campaign website from that year was considered a model for all future campaign websites. His website played a significant role in his overall campaign strategy. It allowed his supporters to read about his campaign platform and provide feedback, donate, get involved with the campaign, and connect with other supporters. A Gallup poll from January 2004 revealed that 49% of Americans have used the Internet to get information about candidates, and 28% said they use the Internet to get this information frequently.
Use of the Internet for grassroots fundraising by U.S. presidential candidates such as Howard Dean, Barack Obama, Ron Paul, and Bernie Sanders established it as an effective political tool. In 2016, the use of social media was a key part of the Donald Trump campaign. Trump and his opinions were established as constantly trending by posting multiple times per day, and his strong online influence was constantly reinforced. Internet channels such as YouTube were used by candidates to share speeches and ads and to attack candidates by uploading videos of gaffes.
Around 54% of adults in the United States used the Internet to get information about the 2010 midterm elections and about specific candidates. This represents 73% of adult Internet users. Around 22% of adult Internet users used social network sites or Twitter to get information about and discuss the elections, and 26% of all adults used cell phones to learn about or participate in campaigns. E-campaigning, as it has come to be called, is subject to very little regulation.
On March 26, 2006, the Federal Election Commission voted unanimously to not regulate political communication on the Internet, including emails, blogs, and the creating of websites. This decision made only paid political ads placed on websites subject to campaign finance limitations. A key part of the United States presidential campaigns is the use of media and framing. Candidates are able to frame their opponents and current issues in ways to affect the way voters will see events and the other presidential candidates. This is known as priming. Americans vote based on whether they feel the country is in a time of gain or time of loss.
The presidential election process is controversial, with critics arguing that it is inherently undemocratic, and discourages voter participation and turnout in many areas of the country. Because of the staggered nature of the primary season, voters in Iowa, New Hampshire, and other small states which traditionally hold their primaries and caucuses first in January usually have a major impact on the races. Campaign activity, media attention, and voter participation are usually higher in these states, as the candidates attempt to build momentum and generate a bandwagon effect in these early primaries.
Conversely,
Voters in California and other large states which traditionally hold their primaries last in June usually end up having no say in who the presidential candidates will be. The races are usually over by then, and thus the campaigns, the media, and voters have little incentive to participate in these late primaries. As a result, more states vie for earlier primaries to claim a greater influence in the process. However, compressing the primary calendar in this way limits the ability of lesser-known candidates to effectively corral resources and raise their visibility among voters, especially when competing with better-known candidates who have more financial resources and the institutional backing of their party's establishment.
Primary and caucus reform proposals include a national primary held on a single day, or the interregional primary plan, where states would be grouped into 6 regions, and each region would rotate every election on who would hold their primaries first. With the primary races usually over before June, the political conventions have mostly become scripted, ceremonial affairs. As the drama has left the conventions, and complaints grown that they were scripted and dull pep rallies, public interest and viewership have fallen off. After having offered gavel-to-gavel coverage of the major party conventions in the mid-20th century, the big 3 television networks now devote only approximately 3 hours of coverage, 1 hour per night.
Critics also argue that the Electoral College is archaic and inherently undemocratic. With all states, except Maine and Nebraska, using a winner-take-all system, both the Democratic and the Republican candidates are almost certain to win all the electoral votes from those states whose residents predominantly vote for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, respectively. This encourages presidential candidates to focus exponentially more time, money, and energy campaigning in a few so-called swing states, states in which no single candidate or party has overwhelming support. Such swing states like Ohio are inundated with campaign visits, saturation television advertising, get-out-the-vote efforts by party organizers, and debates.
Meanwhile, candidates and political parties have no incentive to mount nationwide campaign efforts or work to increase voter turnout in predominantly Democratic Party-safe states like California or predominantly Republican Party-safe states like Texas. In practice, the winner-take-all system also both reinforces the country's two-party system and decreases the importance of third and minor political parties. Furthermore, a candidate can win the electoral vote without securing the greatest amount of the national popular vote. It is also possible to secure the necessary 270 electoral votes from only the 11 most populous states and then ignore the rest of the country.
Presidential elections are held on the same date as those for all the seats in the House of Representatives, the full terms for 33 or 34 of the 100 seats in the Senate, the governorships of several states, and many state and local elections. Presidential candidates tend to bring out supporters who then vote for their party's candidates for those other offices. These other candidates are said to ride on the presidential candidate's coattails. Voter turnout is also generally higher during presidential election years than either midterm election years or odd-numbered election years.
Please share this video, subscribe to our channel.